Y'all good? Y'all good? Ooh, Tiffany got on lipstick. Tiffany got on lipstick. Hey, hey, hey. I'm so excited. I'm excited for a few reasons today. Hello. Welcome, y'all. Come on in. We are so glad that you are here. We got a lot to talk about. This is a serious conversation. Ladies, get ready. Ladies, that's 40 plus. We getting ready to talk about the change. I can't stand it. But anyway, we're going to get into all of that. First of all, welcome to another episode of For the Culture. I am, I'm Henny on the rocks. Hey! Hey! And to my right is...
Queen Guts.
Her name Keisha, though. And next to Keisha is...
CSO.
Tell them what it is.
Chief Straightening Officer.
She straightens that out. You want to introduce your VIP guest?
Okay, so of course we have my bestie.
Woo woo!
Yeah,
And she is a bestie. If I start telling you some of the stuff that she do, like I was moved almost to tears. Like, damn, they make them like that? But yeah. You win that title.
That's because she's an Aries, by the way.
That's right. That's
Aries.
Oh Jesus!
Oh,
And
here we
moving
go.
right along, we're going to say this is my birthday twin. We're 10 years apart, but we're both born on September the 23rd.
Yay.
Oh, yay! And what is her name?
Melanie.
Thank you for being here. We appreciate it. And I am going to introduce my very dearest. This is Mrs. I want to introduce you like I want to introduce you.
Okay, go ahead.
This is my boo. Hey! This is my doctor. This is Dr. Huggins. That's how I want to introduce you. Doctor, can I please tell the story how we met?
Actually, you can, because I think it's pretty hilarious. But also goes to show people how first impressions, without you just looking and without speaking and saying and receiving what someone is saying to you, you could have missed missed meeting your boo.
So listen, I'm gonna tell y'all real quick. So, I made a doctor's appointment. I try to support my people. Sometimes it's hard, but this particular time, went to this doctor's office, first time seeing this doctor, and they stick you in that little hole, that little room for 99 days, and you waiting for the doctor to come in, and you waiting. So I'm waiting. First time there, walks in the door, looks at me. Oh, you having headaches? What did I say?
And I will be honest, I don't remember that was my response. I don't.
And I said, oh, that's what we doing? And she looked at me, she said, oh, I'm sorry, let's start over. Let's do that all over again. She walked out the room and came back in, and we've been connected ever since. Ain't that amazing? You never know. Look, we've been a blessing to each other on so many levels. Hey, her baby, one of your babies is in college. And Sydney Pooh, hey Sydney. Sydney doing her thing with softball. So yes, we would have missed that blessing, but that's how we did it. Like, you ain't finna come in here like that?
Yeah, and then it was no excuses, but what it was is I was getting a migraine.
I remember that. Yep.
And it was just one of those days. And
yes.
That's why I said I don't even remember.
Give people grace. I gave her grace.
But she also said it, and it made me realize, okay, it must have been my headache.
Yes.
But let me start over, because it was the afternoon meeting appointment as well.
It was.
So in my mind, I was like fighting through the end of the day.
Yes, but we made it. So that's that. So listen, y'all. Woo! We want to talk about the change. Baby, I did the lip popping today. You know it's something serious.
When you take yourself there,
wait a minute. Like,
loud too.
Oh my God, like when I was a young girl, I just caught on to what you said. I've been practicing. So listen, when I was a young girl, a teenager, I used to remember my mom talking about this and hearing other adults talk about the change. Didn't know what it was, ever. Never questioned it or anything. But baby, that change came a knocking. So we're going to talk about perimenopause and menopause, because this is real. Like, if you're not going through it yet, you need to pay attention and take notes. If you have a significant other, if you have a husband, a spouse, whomever, they should, if they have the patience to tolerate, they should really watch this as well, because they are going to be on the receiving end. And they about to get it. Yeah, they about to get it. So they may want to watch
give
this.
grace like she gave.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
So I know we took attendance earlier, and I think these two are the only two that's not part of this club. But one of them is in denial. We ain't gonna say which one.
Hold on. I say there's a possibility that I'm dealing
Look,
with
see,
some things.
I'm flashing. Get ready to flash right now.
So you're doing the same thing, right?
I think
She
we'll get
thinks
into
so.
it.
Yeah.
So
But I'm full blown.
We thinking.
I'm just not.
She's just not. That's okay. Well, you know what? You have a lot to
I
learn,
have-
sis.
yes,
Yeah, take
yes.
notes, and you know what to prepare for.
Yes,
On the other
absolutely.
hand, the three of us fabulous ones, we up in there. And like right now as we speak, I am getting ready to have a hot flash. I'm getting ready to have a hot flash, but I'm still cute. So I'm gonna throw it over to you, because
While you flashing.
yeah, while I'm flashing, we want to know exactly. Okay, so there's perimenopause and there's menopause. So from what I understand, perimenopause is the warning shot.
It's the warning time period.
Yes.
Which is very long.
Ooh. Wait a minute. What do you mean very
Wait
long?
a minute.
You know, you think, okay, it's it'll be just a little bit of time and then we'll go into it, but no. So I'm just gonna go really back, puberty and menstruation, right? So monarch, when we first start our period, usually averages about 11 years old. You know, when we first have our menstrual cycle. So that usually is once a month. On average, every 28 days you start to bleed. That's the average. Some people might bleed every 21, some can go up every 32, but on average every 28 days you start to have a period every month. Again, some people are irregular. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the normal, I have a period every month, at least once a month. So you may have started on average around 11, 12 years old.
I did.
Every year for, probably on average, definitely around your 40s, late 40s. Again, this is an average. Then you can start to go into perimenopause. So what perimenopause is, you start to have irregular cycles. So if you were every single month, now all of a sudden you're like, oh, I missed my period. First thing we think of is what?
I'm pregnant.
And so let's just say you know you pregnant because you know you're not. Like you know you're not because you've had a hysterectomy. You know you're not because you've had your tubes tied. You know you're not
Because you ain't getting none.
I was gonna say because you're abstinent,
Oh,
but
my bad.
you ain't getting none.
My bad.
Yes. You know you're not, maybe because you're already on a form of birth control or whatnot. And so, now you're trying to figure out, well, why did I miss my cycle? There could be other things. It can be your thyroid is off. It could be excessive change in your weight, too much weight gain, not enough weight gain. Being very, very athletic, which is why gymnasts, they usually have late periods, just if you're muscular, that type of
I
thing.
never knew that.
So a lot of those things can make it irregular. But once you realize, okay, I don't fall into any of this, my thyroid is fine, then you're probably in perimenopause. So perimenopause is when your hormone levels start to either decrease or increase. It depends on which hormone we're talking about. I don't want to get like that deep, but what we do need to know as women, we have ovaries and then we have the uterus. So you have some hormones, and I'll say FSH, F I say because it's a female hormone. It stimulates our ovaries to ovulate. And then that is kind of the mother in my mind to estrogen, which starts to make your uterus grow. So I say the grass in the uterus grow, just that nice blood supply. That if we don't get pregnant is our period. It sheds out, right? And there's other hormones involved like progesterone and all that other stuff, but those are the two things. But when you get in perimenopause, your FSH starts to rise a little bit and your estrogen levels are slowly starting to decrease. And so you start to have irregular periods. So you might have had a period in January, you might not have another one until March, you might not have another one until June. It's going to be inconsistent. I can't say it's going to be let's just say for you, it could have been every other month. So in a year, you had 6. When you go into perimenopause your first time, and you say, well, it's 12 months in a year, but I had at least 8. Y'all both are still in perimenopause. I can't tell you like what your irregularity will be because there is going to be a lot of other factors. Did you smoke? Do you smoke? How do you eat? Is anyone overweight? All of those things are going to contribute. What is your stress level? All of those are going to contribute to the onset and then the duration and also how you feel when you're having them. But you can start to have these symptoms, which the biggest one we like to talk about are the vasomotor instabilities, which are the hot flashes.
Wait, what's that big word? Say that again.
Vasomotor instability. It's just hot flashes, though. That's
Vasomotor instability.
So why did they give it a name like that?
Who came up with that name?
Because it's what it is doing is it's making our blood vessels dilate, and then you're getting your blood is flowing fast and it's rushing and through your body, and it's just making you hot, and your body can't regulate the core temperature as quickly. So that's why that flash can last anywhere from seconds to about 4 minutes.
So your blood starts speeding up.
Because your vessels are dilated. And it's just you just getting flushed.
More blood is flushing through because they dilate.
Yeah.
So what? And I don't want to go too deep, but when that happens on the onset of a flash, what sparks that? What is the root cause of?
Well, if we're still talking about perimenopause and or going into menopause, it's literally just a hormonal imbalance. It's just your levels they're all over the place. So your hormones at that moment are just.
You're not even a man in here though. Like if
So,
it
like what type of
talking
actions do it cause?
What for you to feel?
Yeah, like
The
I'm
vasal-
just going through the different, the perimenopause.
Oh, the perimenopause. Usually, and this is where we were thinking we kind of vibing. I can't say 100% I am. So I'll just throw it out there. I had a hysterectomy, one of the best decisions of my life, about 2 years ago. So I don't have.
Me too.
So I'm not having a period every month to know if I'm having irregular periods, right? So I don't know. So at this point, I can really only go off of my symptoms. And usually, knowing if you're in perimenopause or menopause, I will be honest, as a provider, any provider should tell you that you can self-diagnose. It's not really like you have to go in and someone needs to tell you that.
Yeah.
You really can self-diagnose yourself. When I have women come in that wants me to test them, I flat out tell them, look, I think it's a waste of money.
Yeah.
I honestly do. Because especially if you're still having periods, your FSH will fluctuate through your menstrual cycle time. So within that average 28 days, it's going to fluctuate anyway, doing what it should normally do. So depending on when I draw it, your FSH level can be high, but it could be high because you were getting ready, it's part of your menstrual cycle. So I don't want to say, well, yeah, it's high, so you probably are going into menopause. So it's just not really a very stable indicator for me. And I teach nursing students, and my biggest thing I tell them, besides I'm treating my patient, I'm not treating a number. So I'm going to talk to you more and say, okay, well, tell me, what are you feeling? When is it coming on? What happened before that? Have you had your thyroid checked? When did this start? I want to figure out all of that and then be able to just say, you know what, based off of what you're saying, your age, your family history, you probably are going into that. Family history is very important. So, like, I'm blessed to say that my mom, number one, is still alive. Number two, she didn't have a hysterectomy, so she went through menopause. So for me to actually talk to her and say, hey, Mom, how old were you when you was freezing the heck out of me and my sister in that house? I remember. Like you say, oh, I remember y'all remember the slips, the little half slips?
You couldn't go nowhere without one.
My mom used to get home, strip off all her clothes, put on her half slip on, and just pull it up like a little mini dress. And that's all she would have on.
Oh, wow.
And me and my sister, and drop the AC down, and me and my sister in the house with coats on, like it's winter time. There you go. And so I remember that, and my mom just chuckled when I asked her, that time. She was like, you remember that? I was like, yes.
Yes.
And so she told me, she was like, actually, I was 52, and that's actually the average age. If you research it, they say 51.1 years.
What to start?
Is when menopause comes in.
Oh, the real menopause, not the peri.
Perimenopause can start anywhere in its late 40s into 50s, and perimenopause though can last anywhere from 4 to 7 years.
Wow.
So how do you know? I know everyone's. How do I know for a fact that I am truly in menopause? Because you can have the same symptoms of menopause and perimenopause. You can start to have, which the big one, like we say, the hot flashes, night sweats. But mood swings, irritability.
Yes.
You can get anxious about things you might not have been anxious about before. Like it could be something as simple as, oh, I'm gonna go ahead and go shopping at Walmart later because there's too many people in here now. But you was up in Walmart with all these people 2-3 years ago.
That's how I am right now when
So
it comes to events. When I hear a commercial or see, I'm like, oh, I ain't going to that. Like, but why? I used to be on the scene for everything. Now I don't want to go to nothing. What is up with
So
that?
it could be a form of anxiety, a form of social anxiety. Sometimes depression actually can be one.
Can I say my big one that made me say, oh, heck no? brain fog.
Yes.
Woo,
So you
I don't know if
definitely
y'all have dealt with that.
Yes, I'm checking all the. I have
Yes,
10
all the
checks
boxes.
at this point.
That
Yeah.
brain fog,
Oh yeah.
it made me to the point where, is these folks fitting to fire me? Because it was like, I've been doing my job for so long, and now all of a sudden it's like, wait, how do I do that?
So this is the thing.
So when you have the moments with the clippers in your hair, this is my barber. Let me know if you have brain fog and forget how to cut.
I thought that was a COVID thing.
So, and you know what? Listen, brain fog is a COVID thing, but guess what? It was before COVID that you still had menopause before COVID, and that was still something before COVID. So, I'll be honest, I have that too, and I did initially chalk it up to COVID. And then as I started to have the night sweats, but with me, I don't. Well, sometimes I do sweat. Most of the time, though, I'm just so hot, and I have to be completely out of my cover. The AC is on, the fan is blowing. Don't
You said at night.
Yes. Mine is only at night right now. I'm not flashing or anything during the day. But yeah, at night, and it's like now I'm sleeping with less and less clothes on. I'm like, Lord, please don't let my house burn down.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to run out like this. Sorry, y'all. I think I'm in perimenopause. That's all I got.
Yes.
Or maybe hang a robe on that, hook by the door to grab it on the way out. I don't know, but that's why I feel like I could be. I'm mid-40s, so it's a possibility. I could be starting it again. I don't have that irregular periods thing to be able to confirm that or not. But yeah, those symptoms that I was telling you definitely are real.
And you know what? Here's the thing. I found out because through research and following different people on social media that's experiencing this, there are so many symptoms, side effects, I should say, not symptoms. There are so many side effects that people would not even imagine. And I know most of us may follow Oprah or heard about the Oprah story with her menopause, because that's a hot topic right now. Oprah, money lady, Oprah went to 5 different doctors. 5 doctors misdiagnosed her when she was in, and this is recently. 5 doctors she recently came out with it because she's in her 70s. She ain't just getting in menopause. But she just came out with this. 5 doctors misdiagnosed her, and she was having, here was my biggest one, heart palpitations.
I have that.
Oh my God, I'm thinking I'm getting ready to die. No. I thought I was going to die. Baby, sometimes my heart be racing. It's like you think you done ran a marathon or somebody running behind you behind. Yes. And Oprah had that side effect. She went to the doctor. What did they do? They put her on heart medicine. So she was on heart medicine for nothing. It was menopause.
And really what that's doing is masking symptoms.
Yes.
So I will be honest, when you're looking for a healthcare provider, one thing about it is you want to make sure, now I'm all about supporting Black owned and supporting friends. They don't even have to be Black. If it's your friend, you can support who you want to support, but you still have to make sure that they know what the heck they're doing. Yes. You just have to, because a lot of diagnosis, whatever it may be, a lot of it has to do with the appropriate questions they're asking. Everyone doesn't come in as a patient like you and is willing to just say, listen, all of this is going on, and then I'm able to try to figure it out and piece it together. Some people, if you don't ask, I don't tell. And so you have to really ask all of those questions. So like when you talk about palpitations, for me as a provider, I will be honest, and most providers will say the first thing they will think of is a heart thing. So are they having atrial fibrillation, all of that? So we would think cardio, but then I'm gonna also go to thyroid. Is their thyroid off? But remember, I talked about that would be a test I would do when you have perimenopause or menopause. So then my next thing, I am going to go into starting to ask you about those types of questions. But do you feel moody, irritable, snappy? How are you sleeping? Because you can have insomnia.
Oh, baby. Yes.
So, how are you eating? Then I will start to ask you things that we kind of think should be on the tail end. And I don't know, I think, and y'all got to tell me about this. Maybe people don't bring it up as initial because they can fix it quickly, I guess, over the counter. So where I'm going to go is vaginal dryness. I think their thing could be,
the Sahara
I
Desert.
might not be into him, or I might not want to have sex when he want to have sex, and that's just why I'm not, you know, lubricated as well right now. But if I want to, you know, it will flow, but it might have nothing to do with that. It could just be with the decrease in the estrogen. So you're having vaginal dryness. But the quick fix is going to buy some lube, right? And we can buy it over the counter. We don't need a prescription. So I think that's why a lot of people don't talk about that. Dyspareunia, which is basically pain during sex, burning when you urinate, all of that can be contributed to menopause because of the decreased estrogen. That's really
because
all
when you
it
burning,
is.
first thing you say is, "Ooh."
Yeah.
What I got?
Okay. Baby.
Well, if you actually active, that's the first thing.
Yes.
Why you done gave me?
Right.
Either that, and then your second one gonna be, oh my God, do I have a urinary tract infection?
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
No, that's what we do. We say, oh my God, I'm
Yeah.
You never said, but am I perimenopause or in menopause?
No,
Like, that's not what we do.
We wanna know what you think.
We go to you.
Right.
We go to what you say.
Yes.
What I got.
Yeah.
It's like, well, really, what you don't have. Estrogen is what you
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a broad spectrum of things that happen during this time, and because of that, there's a lot of different ways you could treat it, and those treatments are gonna vary because it's gonna vary on the person, what they're willing to do, not do, and
Can we go back to what you just said? Because I want to be sure that our viewers, that we all love, no matter what age, no matter what race you are, I want to be sure that our viewers understand what you just said about the intercourse. Because this can be something, I know of a couple that thought they were getting ready to like separate, move out the house because she didn't want to give him none. And it turned out that it was the menopause, the vaginal dryness, the decreased sex drive. It wasn't that she wasn't
thank you for saying
desiring
that
him.
too. It's another thing I'm gonna let you finish.
Okay.
Make it clear too. That is a separate symptom. Decreased sex drive.
Oh,
I can be lubricated well.
Yes.
But my
Still
sex,
wanna
my
do it.
libido
Yes.
is
Yes.
down.
Yes.
Yeah. But usually those kind of decreased sex drive and you're not getting lubricated.
Yes.
And so you have to have those conversations
Yes.
and partners. You have to be willing to say, okay, babe, you know, hey, what's
What's
going
up?
on? You know, how are you feeling? What is it? Because sometimes people will go left and be like,
But let's be real. The average
Not
man,
feeling me.
when he wants some, and he's aggravated,
He don't care.
or right, he ain't finna sit there and say, "Oh, what's going on?" He ain't finna do that. So, ladies, I would recommend, if you know you are in perimenopause, if you know that has caused your sex drive to decrease, if you know it's a Sahara Desert down here, and you know that it's no fault of yours, if you know nobody know your man like you, it is your. I'm hoping you understand. Educate him. Let him know, babe, it's not me. It's blah. And find a way to work around it. Do what you need to do to make sure that your relationship, that your marriage still stays intact through this, because these are going to be some trying times for that brother.
It really is.
Yeah,
and I
it
mean,
really
I don't
will.
know how deep we can get, but so just a quick background. I'm board certified in women's health. So this is like my thing, especially when you're starting to go into that. My thing is, listen, we were Adam and Eve, right? And they were naked, right?
Yeah.
So, and we make children. That's what the man and the woman does. And we do that by sex. So it shouldn't be like, oh my God, you in perimenopause, you in menopause, you still should be having sex. Like, don't think, okay, you too old, so to speak. At that point, you ain't old, baby. You seasoned. You know what to do.
Right.
Now, at this point, do what Henny's saying. Get creative.
Yes.
There's porn. There's all
Yep.
types of lubes.
Yep.
They're flavorful. There's toys.
Yep.
That you just at this point you just have to get creative.
If you want to save your
to
relationship,
make it,
you got to do that.
exactly. That is the thing. If you want to save that relationship, and it's compromise. You know what I mean? I mean, if y'all were having sex every day, 2-3 times a day, okay, I need the brother to understand. I'm just throwing out. I need the brother to understand. Look,
I remember the days, bro.
I know I be built that way right now.
I remember the days, baby. Give me a filter cane cool.
Now you giving me face on more than something.
Ooh, I remember when I used to could do that.
But I'm just saying, at that point, it needs to be a compromise. And that compromise compromise need to be, okay, babe, I'm not built that way right now. I'm going through something.
Yes.
But look, instead of every day, it's 7 days in a week, let's work for 4. Like, you know, I'm gonna give you at least more than half, and then see what works there, you know.
Yes.
And there's other parts of sex. It's not just intercourse, there's oral sex. So you gotta make it, you know, make it work for y'all.
Yes, yes. But
you know, and if you're married or you've been together, as long as you've been together, there shouldn't be no secrets anyway. So.
Absolutely, absolutely. But just remember that and keep that in mind. And I think keeping that line of communication open with your partner, when you realize you have entered the perimenopause, especially the menopause phase, I think a conversation needs to be had between you and your partner. Period. Sitting down, here is where I am. And this is no fault of ours. This is the way God made us, baby. Because remember, women, we are fabulous. We go through a lot. We carry a lot. Y'all, I ain't going to say we, but women, y'all carry a whole human inside of you for 9 months. And then you drop it out. And then you get your transmission drop when you have your little hysterectomy thing. It's a lot women go through. It's a whole lot we go through. Yeah, you get your transmission drop, you know. But yeah, so it's a lot that we go through. So make sure he understands that this is the way God built us. If he got a problem with it, take it up with God. You know, that type of thing. But I'm not gonna eat up the whole conversation because I know you got questions.
I mean, first of all, I think in a marriage, if these things are going on, and you know, I don't think there's just like this one day that you have this conversation.
Right.
I think that this conversation should be going along while these things are coming. You know, like this is what's going on with me right now. I'm not feeling this right now, and you know, man, I
has nothing to do with you.
So this is so it's not a one day. Okay, let's sit down and have a talk. You know what I'm saying? Because if it's perimenopausal,
it needs to be open. It needs to be initiated. I guess, like Henny said. And then now, when I'm flashing, okay, babe, that's why our light bill went from 200 to 400 because I need this AC down. You need to do that, or you need to put a ceiling fan up in the room that's not there, or you need to buy me another ceiling. You know what I mean? Like compromise.
Yes.
Either you gonna pay the extra 200, or you gonna get me a fan and put it right here by me, or you know what I mean? Like what? That's gonna be one thing, you know. Or, babe, I'm just in the mood. It has nothing to do with you. Can I please give me 30 minutes of self-care time?
Yeah.
Can you deal with the kids? If there's no kids in the house, can you cook or find you something to eat today? Or I will Uber you, DoorDash you some food because I'm in a snappy mood and I don't want to snap at you and then now we fighting over some stuff that I can't control. We can't control.
Yes, you can't control it.
So I do agree it will be an ongoing conversation.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, so I'm kind of soaking all this in, and I do think that something is going on with me, so I could be in perimenopause.
Well, tell us your symptoms.
Oh, you know, just that
This
stuff.
is great.
So let's talk about this because I have another girlfriend that is the same way. She just will not talk about it as if she say it is going to eat her up or
so
something.
no, it's not that. It's just like,
Come on,
okay,
Queen.
so if we're saying that it's the snappiness. Okay, so first of all, as women, we get snappy anyway. Let's just be honest.
Well, yes.
But is it worse than usual?
And it may be worse than usual, but I'm just saying these are the things that I'm seeing to be.
Well, what I would tell you, so if you want to do that baseline of women can be snappy anyway, okay, we can use that. That's a stereotype. We got to throw it out there because it is true. Let's put that baseline. But are you getting annoyed by stuff that normally wouldn't annoy you?
Okay, yeah.
So that is when I would check a hard time saying yes.
I do, but also, you know, I may be at a different stage in my life, but I will be at this different stage in my life anyway. And on top of that, it's just maybe a certain thing that's going on that makes it worse. So I'm not saying I believe it to be perimenopausal because of that, because I actually do see, you know, an answer for everything. There's another possibility. But in the same note, while you're educating us, I'm getting a better understanding that just really may be what's going on.
And what I do want to say to you though is, as we have this talk and I give you the symptoms, I don't want any woman to come in here and use, I'm in perimenopause as the excuse. What I can say, because you're going through this time in your life that you're going to go through if you are biologically a woman, that may contribute to the things that you already
I agree,
with.
because
So
even at the age that you're saying perimenopause, like I'm 52. So I would be really going through this process right now.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So I understand. I mean, but it's just stuff like this. Like
Welcome to the club.
we have
Come
people.
on in.
We have people that's already in it.
Card carry. Hey, your fan is your card.
So
Card carry.
if you don't mind, because people gonna want to know, not to cut you, people gonna want to know because you threw it out there.
Yeah.
That you're 52.
Yeah.
When was your last period? What month?
Man.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Look, now listen, because I was like, in my mind, I'm gonna rub you as soon as I walk out the door. When was your last period? What month? I'm not saying you gotta get it
Okay.
exact.
It's been a while, but it's been a while for reasons. Like I had surgery. I had a hysterectomy. So
Okay, so we can't use you on that.
Right.
Okay. Sorry.
Right.
We gonna
So
leave that alone.
it's been
okay.
a couple years.
No, a couple of years.
Yeah, it's been a couple.
Oh.
And but I agree.
Now, are we referring to the period or sex?
Oh, the period.
No, I'm making sure because I'm like, I'm thinking about
She said she had it in so
but
much.
she was having hysterectomy.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we happy about that, aren't we?
I know that's right. That's right.
You know what y'all sound like? I'm telling you what y'all sound like. You know, like somebody like loud talking you at the grocery store with a food stamp card or something.
Yeah.
I'm trying to buy some of them, motherfuckers.
Okay, so let's use that as an example, though. Let's use that as an example. It is kind of like, I can't believe you loud talking to me, but back, I mean, I'm just saying. But in my mind, the old me, I've been like, dang, I wish I had that food stamp card to use.
Me too.
You know what I mean? Like, would it have really still made you feel that way? Or are you just now annoyed because you don't have the card and you just napping on them? Like, that's why I'm like,
I see what you just did there. Okay.
you see what I mean? Because
Yeah.
at one point we might have felt that way, but now at another time we feel the opposite of what you're saying. So it's a mood swing, but what's causing it?
The mood swings.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And I'm not saying one is
No,
better
no,
than the
I
other.
get what
I'm just
you're
saying
saying.
those
I
are
get
the
what
things
you're
that.
saying. Yeah.
Because no, the same thing. I'll be honest today. Well, I'm not gonna call it road rage because I wasn't trying to hurt nobody, that type of thing. But most of the time, if someone cuts me off or whatever, I don't care. I don't. And I tell my kids, that, especially if they're in the car, let them go.
Yeah.
Let them go because it's not gonna get you where you're going any much
Right,
later.
see, that's reasonable, but I mean, the
But today,
average
this
person
person
ain't
tried to cut me
reasonable.
off, and I done rolled my whole window down and leaned my head out and was like, "What are you doing? Like, why did you?" But
So
I
is it
normally
the
wouldn't have did that.
perimenopause?
See, that's what I'm saying. So I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
not
So you
stressed
don't
about
I
it.
think so.
Oh, she
I
know.
think so.
Yeah.
Right, but see,
Okay, so-
I was already having a stressful day, and then that took me on a whole nother
Exactly.
level.
See, that's what I'm saying. It's certain things. It's like, is it that or is it this?
Right.
So,
But
let's
the
move
two
on
things that we
to-
talked about are still symptoms of perimenopause. So what I'm saying
Right.
is I probably could be in perimenopause. I don't know for sure. I was already stressed. Now that happened, and it's continuing to build.
Right,
So
right,
what I'm
right.
saying is I'm not saying it is the perimenopause that's causing all of this, but it's all these symptoms, and now it's just harder for me to
right.
process them the same way I would have processed
Right.
them before.
I got you. I got you. So let's move on to these two here. Give us your experience.
Well, I'm 52 as well, and I had a partial hysterectomy. I think maybe 4 years,
Yeah.
maybe 5 years ago. And within the last 2 years or so, I think, is when I really started with the symptoms. And just recently, and I wasn't taking anything for it, but I would have the night sweats, heart palpitations, in and out of the covers at
Yes.
night, anxiety.
Yes. I've never had anxiety
what else?
before.
Just everything that we talked about is what I would experience. And so I was just gonna try to tough it out and just do it without medication and hormones. Because you hear so many stories about hormones and replacement and that sort of thing. So I said, okay, it wasn't that bad. I can just deal with it. But with memory loss and just all these things together, and then you still have to live and be a wife and be a parent, it got to the point where I was like, it's too much. So just recently I started taking estradiol, which I know it says that it takes about a month or two to get into your system, but I can already, after 2 or 3 weeks, feel a difference so that I'm not having as many hot flashes at night. It's not awake because I couldn't really even focus at work because I was so tired from just not resting. Because it would just really, like, literally, it felt, to me, I describe it as it feels like there's fire inside of you, and it's not a heat that comes from the outside in. It's an internal heat, and it's like a volcano, and it's like.
And again, I have not experienced it, but the reason I'm sitting here saying yes,
and then it
because I've
goes
treated
down
so
like
many
that.
women, and there's not one woman has described it any differently.
Yeah.
They always say it is internal. It starts from the inside.
From the inside.
But it makes sense because think about it. If we're hot, like we walk past fire, we're hot from the outside.
Right.
We could just move away from the fire fan real quick and be done with this 60 seconds.
This go with you.
And that's why it takes so long.
Yes.
Right.
And you know, you just be like, just give me a minute. Like I work with when they like, hold on, we got just breaking for the minute. And until they can get out of that, we not moving on. Because I can't talk, I'm not gonna think, don't ask me no questions, just let me
just go through.
And then when you think about that happening to you in your sleep, like multiple times, as soon as you get back to sleep, okay, here it comes again. So you wake up and then you take the covers off. You're not really asleep and you're not really awake, and so you're not resting. So you know, it's just
those sleepless nights are something else. I tell you. So if you don't mind, let's and this may seem like weird, but let's share some symptoms. So you mentioned we share in common the sleepless nights. Obviously, the night sweats, the hot flashes,
sweats, heart palpitations.
Yes. Foggy brain fog.
Okay.
Anxiety.
Anxiety.
Do you find yourself to be a little bit more tired than usual?
I was and that was the other thing too, because I have a 12. How old's your goddaughter? 14-year-old. Who's very busy, and you know, I have a husband and I have a job. You know, I have all the things that women have. You know, and I had never had a problem juggling all of that and doing everything well. But then it became a situation where it was like I was so tired because I wasn't sleeping.
Yes.
And then you have the anxiety, you know, and it became too much. And I said it was just going to have to be worth the risk of whatever it was going to be for me to have to take this estradiol because I just couldn't. It was just too much.
Yeah. Do you find yourself? Did you? Because you're on the road to recovery, possibly. Do you find yourself being a little bit more emotional?
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, but more so as far as like anxiety and just feeling overwhelmed.
So you don't cry a lot?
I don't really cry a lot. And I'm not a crier. I mean, it's got to be something for me to be crying.
I shouldn't say but let me rephrase that. I think for me, like you mentioned earlier, things that's been happening in life for years and years and years, now all of a sudden, because of this phase that I am in, now all of a sudden it's like,
and see, that just might be how your symptoms are presented, because everybody, there's so many symptoms, and I think that's why women have a hard time accepting or realizing that that's what it is. Because it could be different for you. Like I don't have the sadness, but I have the brain fog and the anxiety and just not being able to get it together when I'm usually
because most people
together.
What we think of is we're not having a period, right? Hot flashes, night sweats, and maybe vaginal dryness that comes along, right? But all these other things that we're talking about,
And is hair loss one of those?
Hair loss, I've read. Well,
it can be. That's not one that I would put on the top because it's not as common. But you know, when you're dealing with hormonal fluctuation and stuff like that, it can, because you could be pregnant or just had a baby and have hair loss too. You know what I mean? Because it's the hormonal fluctuation. So it could be, but that's not one I would really tell people, because there's really not a hormonal treatment or lack of hormonal treatment for that. Does that make sense? Or not, like, because if we talk about hormonal treatments or non-hormonal treatments, none of them are going to help with the hair loss. So that's why I'm saying.
What about your experiences? It seems like you've been in it for quite some time. You're the OG.
Yes, yes, I will accept that. Well, my situation is different because I did go through menopause, and I tried the hormone, the estradiol, but fast forward 2019, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And the type of breast cancer was caught early. The way they're treating it, once I had the chemotherapy radiation, was the way they explained it is the breast cancer was caused by hormones. So really, in my mind, my body is attacking itself. So they had to prescribe a hormone blocker. And so one of the side effects is bone loss and the hot flashes. So I have to be on this hormone block. I always say I got a 10-year sentence additionally added to that. So medicine.
So wait a minute. And I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm just trying to make sure that I comprehend what I just heard.
Yeah.
So you're saying you were at the point years ago where you got on some type of hormonal treatment.
Yeah.
To help
For a short period though. It wasn't that long that I was on.
What's not that long? A year, 2 years?
Less than a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you were on some type of treatment to help ease the symptoms
Yes.
for less than a year.
Yes.
Unfortunately, in 2019, you were diagnosed with the early stages of breast cancer. And you were told by your by a physician that breast cancer, the onset of the breast cancer was because of you taking...
No, not at all.
Oh,
not at all.
okay.
No,
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No.
I know what you're. I know what you're.
Yeah, that's not at all what I'm implying or saying, because I know that is one of the side effects, but that was totally unrelated, because it was at least 4 or 5 years difference once I stopped the medication, and I just stopped it because of different symptoms. And so it just happened that I was diagnosed, at an early stage, and the type of tumor that they found was, reacting to the hormones that naturally grow in our body.
So with the medication that you were taking, the whatever, that was causing you too many symptoms, so you got off of it?
Yeah.
Symptoms like what?
I hate to say it.
Girl, we family now.
But it was the breast pain.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So your breast would just hurt?
Yeah.
Just like paining?
Yeah.
Wow.
But if you think about it, what is a symptom when we're getting ready to have our period?
Yeah.
It was
very
been so long
similar
for me.
to
I'm
that.
sorry.
But it's sore breast.
Oh, the tenderness. Yes.
Which is why. So first of all, we got to pause on the menopause and go to the. Thank you for being a poster child on the importance of knowing yourself, knowing your body, knowing your breast, and getting your mammogram.
Yes.
Right.
So let's throw that out there.
Well, I want to also say I didn't feel a lump. Okay, the doctors did not feel a lump. 3D mammogram called it. 3D mammogram. I'm a big proponent of that, because that's what found that little small lump in my breast.
And I'll be honest with you, mammograms, y'all, we gotta get them. We gotta get them.
Yes.
40 years old, you gotta get them, and
Yes.
sometimes 35, depending on your history, because
Yeah.
majority of breast cancers actually you can't feel because they're not lumps. So I just wanted to throw that out there and say yes, thank you for that. But think about it though, like I said, when we're in having our youthful, still having periods, one of the symptoms is breast tenderness. Which is why when we try to encourage breast self-exams, we always say do it 7 days after the beginning of your period, because your breast tenderness is gone. So you would be willing to press harder on your breast. So I'm just saying that to say we're having periods, we're more youthful, our estrogen level is up. So it wasn't uncommon that she had, or abnormal that she felt that she had breast tenderness. Now, if you take it, are you going to have it? Not necessarily. Everyone metabolizes things. Right, but everyone metabolizes things different. It could also be the manufacturer. It could be a lot of different things. So as we have this open talk, we're talking to educate you, not to make a decision for you and scare you. You have to know what works for you.
Yes.
You also have to know your family history. Now, if there's a family history already out there, then that's
So you did have a family history?
Yes. My mom's sister had breast cancer in her 30s. So I have been having mammograms since 35.
Okay.
But it wasn't until, late 50s that they found this. So, but I have been having mammograms, yeah.
Wow. Okay, so you had your symptoms, you got off of the medication. Fast forward years later, in 2019 is when you were diagnosed. Early onset of it. It's been taken care of. How's your health now?
My health is, I would like to say, very good now.
Okay.
I mean, I have to take this medicine. It's like taking birth control, really. A little small pill 1 time a day, every day, around the same time, to prevent possible recurring breast cancer. But as far as the menopausal symptoms, I found ways to, recognize or decrease some of the symptoms.
Do tell.
Life changes. You know what? What we all need to be doing anyway. And I've decreased sweets because I know I can eat some cake. I love cake. I love candy, all that stuff.
I do too.
But I got to be prepared because hot flash is coming within 30 minutes of eating it.
With
Oh,
the sweets.
Oh.
Wow.
That's
So
sugar.
that happens for
Sugar.
everybody, or that's your
That's
trigger?
my trick.
It's not mine because I eat sugar 24/7.
And you're having hot
Hot
flash.
flash.
But the one I had in here earlier was the first one I've had today. And I didn't ate some Skittles, I didn't eat some Starbursts, I ate some
You
Chips
eat
Ahoy.
real
Don't be
sugar.
looking at me like
Today?
that. Today.
Well,
And let me
about
make
hot
this clear.
flashes
Excuse me. I am not her provider at the moment. Okay?
You always my provider. Always.
I am, but I mean like
Yeah.
officially on paper.
Yeah.
I haven't had no food today, but I had them cookies though, baby.
Yeah, and see that's processed
I love
food.
you.
I don't do
Right.
that. I really had to cut back on
just
it.
for you.
And I can tell the difference when I'm eating a lot better, a lot cleaner.
That's true.
Drinking lots of water, but definitely the processed foods. I feel like if it comes out of paper box or anything like that, that's processed.
Yeah, I'm
you
trying
know,
to cut back on that.
Yeah, so, and you say you haven't eaten food, I can't do that.
I haven't
I'm an
eaten
eater.
no food today.
I eat breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks.
Me too.
I'm down with that, but it has to be certain types of foods. And I definitely notice the difference when I do that. So, and I do, sipping wine or whatever I want to drink, hot flash is coming.
Oh, I was.
So,
I
can
when
agree
you
with
said
that.
I know.
I was
I can't
thinking
drink
that, like,
Yes.
late at night, but
white wine is
Yes.
more so than red wine. I've noticed, but
yes,
yes,
it's sweet.
Yeah, for me too.
So
Yeah,
does it
definitely.
mean that something is
Definitely.
going to trigger there? I know it's different things, but say if none of these things, which I guess that's impossible, but would you not get hot flashes? So do you cause hot flashes?
That's a
They're
very good
triggered.
question. They are triggered. Let's say
They are
that.
triggered with
Majority
lines.
of women do have hot flashes. Now, I will tell you there are studies out there, and I personally had a patient of this ethnic background, Asian. They do a lot of soy. She said she never had a hot flash a day in her life.
Wow.
And there is but before I even saw her, met her, for her to tell me that there is research out there that eating a lot of soy will decrease menopausal symptoms. So soy-based food. So
Not
it does-
soy sauce.
I was about to
Oh,
say.
I'm trying to figure out where you were
further, sir.
not
Not soy sauce, because that is full of sodium sauce.
Yes.
That's gonna swell you up and gonna give you
I'm glad you telling me that because I was about to have me a bottle of soy everywhere I went.
Like the
Soy
hot
sauce.
sauce.
I got
Soy-based food. Soy-based
Okay,
food.
okay.
Not soy sauce. Yes. But just because you brought it up, so let's say that's a non-hormonal treatment. So
Okay.
she started on a hormonal treatment of estradiol, and then she went to a non-hormonal treatment. Eating habits. So her eating habits she's had to figure out. So she's figuring hers out. So you can't listen and say, okay, well I need to not eat sweets so I don't have hot.
Right.
She's figured out her own.
Right.
Yes.
You have to figure out your own.
Yes.
And you have to figure out your own.
My trigger.
Yes,
Right.
yes. For me,
Yes.
I know for me sometimes spicy foods, hot
Okay.
sauce
Oh.
will do it as well. And some days even coffee does it. Most days
Let me
I'm
tell you
okay
why.
with coffee, but some
Now, let
days
me
it's
tell
just
you
like,
why.
what?
So let's run down the foods.
Yep.
It's gonna be spicy foods
Yep.
when you do it, and also caffeine. So are you drinking caffeinated coffee?
Of course.
Well,
Yeah.
You gotta go to decaf. Caffeinated tea. You gotta go to decaf. How many people love chocolate?
Yep.
That is caffeine. Who likes hot cocoa? That is
Yeah.
caffeinated.
Wow.
Who likes sodas? If you're not drinking a Sprite, a Sierra Mist, a ginger ale,
Clear.
it probably has caffeine. So caffeine is going to trigger those as well. Exercising actually helps with menopause.
That's true.
Um,
I was, when I was exercising, and I'll be back. Hey, Gabe, I'll be back. But when I was exercising, I didn't notice that they were kind of at bay.
That and it helps you sleep better too,
Yes.
which
Oh,
is
yes.
a symptom of
Yes.
the insomnia. What are some other things? Stress. So if people who partake, exercise for some people is a stress reliever.
Yes.
For them, mentally, they already know it is a stress reliever, but really doing it does release some of our stress. But meditation, yoga, just your self-care time.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So decreasing your stress levels, those are all going to be very great non-hormonal things. And then people have heard about black cohosh.
Yeah, I used
there's
to do those.
is it ginseng, wild yam, soy. But again, those are non-hormonal. You have to just try it, see if it works for you, or see if it doesn't. I mean, you know.
And I think right now, when a woman starts to go through perimenopause and or menopause, I think it should be very heavy on the self-care.
Self-care is very
Because
important.
you go through so much, just handling the menopause, the perimenopause, on top of being a wife, a mother, a student, being in school, whatever it is your life has you going through, you're handling that as well. And now you got to handle this menopause crap. So I think you should give yourself some grace and be very heavy on the self-love if you can. There are different ways, different varieties of self-love, but give yourself some grace and show yourself some love because you're handling a lot, sis, a lot. So be kind to yourself. So I want to shift gears for a quick moment and talk about the estradiol that they mentioned and the treatments that we can possibly use. Because in all fairness, after watching Oprah's, because she did something with Maria Shriver and a couple of other celebrities, and she was a huge proponent of
Estradiol?
Estra something,
Was it estradiol or there's a
I
couple.
wrote it down because it's on my list to talk to my doctor about. Yes.
Estrogen or estradiol.
Yes, and progesterone.
Oh, and progesterone.
Yes, and estrogen. So I was going to talk to my doctor about those, but it seems like every time I think that I am ready to say, okay, I would like to introduce some form of treatment into my life, into my body, then you start hearing the negativity all over social media and all that. So it's like, well,
again, that's why you're doing this though. It's not negativity. So you have to separate negativity versus education. And or lack thereof, because sometimes the negativity is just the lack of education.
True.
And so they're saying, well, I had it, and so they're just going to assume you have it. It's not that. It needs to be one of those, I took estradiol because I chose to take it for this short period of time, and I got off because it gave me breast tenderness. Well, I came in and told you, but it made sense it gave her breast tenderness. When we're younger and our estrogen levels are there, we all get breast tenderness with a period. She identified it. She didn't like the way that made her feel. She decided, I'd rather do the hot flashes than the breast tenderness. I mean, bottom line, you're going to have something. What can you tolerate is really what it is. And she got off of it. That was her choice to get off of it, which was fine, a great choice. So, but the cancer didn't cause that. I'm so glad you did clarify that. But what I will say is, majority of breast cancers are usually hormone driven. They feed off of a hormone. So if you do get on estrogen, or for the people who are younger and having breast cancer and their body is still naturally giving a lot of that estrogen, sometimes that's why they're the faster growing cancers, because the body just naturally has it. Versus when your body's not making it as much, you can just stop it like she did and then let me take something to block it. So that doesn't mean it's going to happen to you. That's my thing. But you just need to be aware. Look, this is a side effect. This is a symptom. Do not get your mammogram. Still feel on your breast every month. I don't care that you don't know what you're feeling, but they're your breasts. They with you every day. So what you will know is that something is different with your breasts. You know what I mean?
And go get it checked out if it is.
And just get it checked out. And then it's an early catch, right? So those are the things that you have to consider. Just the education. And then what is best for me.
Right.
Based off of my family history, the education I've gotten, and what I can tolerate. What's best for me, and then make your decision. That's how that works. So with the estradiol and progesterone, so estrogen and progesterone. If I say estradiol, we just gonna say that's estrogen because they're all forms. It's just estradiol is a primary form of estrogen that our body makes, majority of it. So that's why they give that. But do you still have your uterus?
Yes.
Okay. So if you were to choose to start an estrogen to help with your side effects or your symptoms, because let's clear that up. You're having signs and symptoms. Side effects are going to come from medication.
Oh, okay.
So signs are what I can see. You can see a stop sign, right? So I can see when you're flashing. When you said you were flashing, I knew you were because I could see you were starting to sweat. But for glisten. Glistening all over your body.
Listen.
But if you were to tell me I'm having a hot flash and I can't see anything, that's a symptom.
Okay.
I have a headache. I can't see your headache, so that's a symptom. Okay, so we're having signs and symptoms. Okay. So if you choose to decide, if you make that decision, you know what, these signs and symptoms, I can't function, I can't tolerate, I have to be a mother, I have to be a wife, I have to be a full-time employee, I need something, whatever that something is, I need something to help me, and you choose to take that. You, because you still have a uterus, you have to take progesterone as well. Because remember I mentioned at the beginning when we were talking about menstruation, the FSH, or follicle stimulating hormone, that it goes up, it hits our ovaries, it makes us, ovulate and all that stuff. It contributes to that process, let's say that, because there's other hormones. Then your estrogen levels start to come up, and it starts to make your uterus thicker. But what makes us bleed is when our progesterone levels spike. So, you've had a hysterectomy, right? You've had a hysterectomy. That's why she's not on progesterone. She doesn't need it because she doesn't have a uterus, so we don't need to shed her lining.
Okay.
You have a uterus, so we need to give you progesterone to shed your uterine lining. So you would need the progesterone in combo with your estrogen. So that's where the progesterone comes in at. But it's the estrogen that is really helping with the symptoms.
Oh, okay. Once again, going back to the Oprah special, she said that she know that she would have been like a manic depressive if she was not on a medication, because she felt herself going there. But then when she was finally diagnosed with and knew that she was in menopause, and knew how she was feeling, and she diagnosed, she realized, okay, I have this symptom, that symptom, and it was heavy on the depression, and she realized, I've got to take something. So now she's taking whatever it is, and she's all better, she's normal, she's still making billions, so it's all good. So I guess, like you said, it's one of those things that, I guess like anything else, if you're going to decide to introduce a new medication into your body, into your life, you have to be ready to accept the consequences, know what you're taking, and just stay prayed up, because what's going to be is going to be.
Right. I mean, you got to figure out because again, anxiety, depression is a symptom.
Oh, yes.
Of
menopause. Yes.
And so, because we've said depression, and you talked about Oprah brought it up, what was she on? Was she on the estradiol or the
Well, at first she was on nothing. But then when she realized, she said she was in the office one day, and she happened, because she loves to read, and she just happened to pick a book up, a random book, and she just started reading it, and coincidentally, not a coincidence, the book was talking about side effects, and it was talking about menopause, and she was like, wait a minute. And that's what sucked her in, and then she called a friend. I think their friend was possibly Maria Shriver. And they started comparing, and she's like, some days do you feel like, blah, you just don't care anymore, you have the brain fog. And she said, as much as she loves to, she's an avid reader, she didn't want to read anymore, she couldn't concentrate.
It's concentration.
It's the concentration.
It's the concentration.
Yeah. And that's when she realized, and that's when she got on something.
Right.
And so the reason I was saying that, because when you're saying something, I wondered, was it estrogen or estradiol, or was it an antidepressant? Because
no, it wasn't an antidepressant.
Okay, it wasn't. Sure.
It was
okay.
not.
But let me still swing it a little bit and go that way. How about that is another treatment for menopause? Being on antidepressants, SSRIs specifically. I cannot remember the brand name. If you let me Google it, I will. But I can tell you paroxetine, which is also Paxil. Most people know the name when you hear it as an antipsychotic medication. But paroxetine 7.5 milligrams. I gotta. Y'all gonna have to let me Google it so I can give you the brand name. But the brand name at 7.5 milligrams is FDA approved for hot flashes.
Oh wow.
Okay, the brand name of that, because the antipsychotic doses are only in 10s, 20s. They don't come in. Now, it's still paroxetine. It is still paroxetine. But
it's a low dose.
If I'm giving it to you to truly treat antipsychotic symptoms and nothing related to menopause, like I'm not going to say I'm not going to give you a 7.5 dose usually, right?
Yep.
And so what I would do when I worked in the OBGYN office, and I was, some women had these symptoms, the medication had just come out. So you know when it just come out.
Yeah. Yes.
It's gonna be what, tier 3 on your insurance. And I don't care what you say, y'all. I'm frugal, so I'm gonna figure out what works best for everybody.
Yes.
So I said, well, listen, this is the thing, because I'm gonna educate you. Paroxetine It is an antipsychotic because I don't want you to pick it up and be like, "Why she think I'm crazy? I'm not crazy." No, you're not crazy, and I don't think you're crazy. But this is an FDA-approved medication. However, the dose is 7.5. I can't give you a 7.5. So what I usually would do is know all of their other symptoms, like do you smoke or not smoke, know their height and weight, calculate their BMI, and I would either tell them, take the whole 10 milligrams of paroxetine, or I would say take it and split it in half because it's scored, so you can break it in half. So I would either start them on 5 milligrams or the 10 milligrams, making sure they understand that the true dose that was FDA approved to really help with the hot flashes is 7.5, but we trying to save some money. So we just gonna see if this is gonna help you. Yes. And so I had a lady come in. She was a much thinner lady, but she did smoke. But she was thinner, so I said, just start you on 5. Let's see what happens. If we need a little bit more, then we can just tell you to do the whole 10 until you decide, or figure out if you would want to pay for the 7.5. 5s did her fine.
Oh wow! Come to
so
think of it.
You can come. So my point is, so paroxetine is one really quick effexor. You could do so there's other ones. So people just don't think I don't want to be on a antipsychotic. First of all, they're not crazy medications.
So what other side? What if we take that? And I'm saying we take that because listening to you and the side effect of menopause, I can't remember nothing. But I remember going to my doctor a while back. And I was like, something got to happen. Like, I can't take this no more. I know my friends are sick of me. I see you looking. My friends are sick of me. I'm sick of me, blah, blah, blah. And he prescribed me something. Okay. He said, but he did tell me it was an antipsychotic. With that, It was a low dose. And he said, try this. Got the prescription filled. And I have not taken one of those.
Prozac. Prozac is another one, too.
Oh, wait. I know about Prozac. No.
But I'm just saying,
I don't know what it is, but I haven't taken it because I'm afraid.
Well, I mean, and this is the thing.
I'm not afraid of it doing though.
I don't know. I feel like I take enough medicine as is just to stay alive. That part. And then I'm getting ready to introduce an antipsychotic drug or a hormone or whatever. I don't know. What if I turn into the green monster or something? I don't know. So I did do the black cohort back in the day, helped me tremendously for about a year or so, year and a half, and then it stopped. And then I did the super primrose. That worked for a while and it stopped. So now I just thug it out. I just take it. Oh. Yeah, I'm thugging it out. But I had completely forgot I got that medicine at home.
But you know what? And I just want to throw this out here for just casual conversation. It's just one of those things as a T. Roy on 93.3 like to say, just because I went to high school with him, and you Troy to me always.
Yes.
What you've been thinking. What you've been thinking. But one of the things that make you go, right? Thoughts of what I've been thinking. Why are some people like, no, I'm only going to take natural things into my body? You still don't know what it's going to do to your body. You still don't know.
You won't know.
Think about it. You don't know until you take it. How do I know that I'm allergic to something until I take it?
Yep.
How do you know you're allergic to a cat until you get one or you're around one? How do you know that you're allergic to cut grass until you go around it? How do you know that you're allergic to dust until your house gets dusty? It's the same concept. Until you introduce yourself to some people are allergic to food. We're allergic to bananas, but people still want to eat them. Do you understand what I mean? So I mean, it's just one of a thought to me. Like, I understand the whole wanting to be more natural and not having processed foods. I definitely get that, and that is a true thing because, processed foods going to help, cholesterol and all those other things. But I'm just saying in general, when people make that statement, but they really do need the medication. Because I'm not a medication pusher. She will tell you that.
Yes.
I am
that
not.
Is true.
I am not. I will look you in your face and say, if you just lose the weight, if you just stop eating this, if you just, then we won't have this conversation and you can't get an attitude with me. Right? Because I don't want to put you on that. That's more money. That's more money.
Yes.
Like, I look at a whole picture. That's more money. That's more time. You got to go call it. You got to pick it up. And I mean for the person, not for me.
Right.
Because I'm getting paid for it. You know what I mean? I'm getting paid. But I mean, it's time consuming for you to go have to get it, remember to get it, remember to take it. So I'm not a pill pusher. But if it's something that really is affecting your daily life, making you unhappy,
thinking you about to get fired because you forgot how to do your damn job.
Right. I mean, so it's just like, you just have to consider, and again, what is best for you? Is it best for me to stop the estradiol? Is it best for me to not eat my sweets, you know, or pace it out. Okay, I'm not gonna eat my sweets, but it's your birthday. I may eat a piece of cake for your birthday, but I can't. You know what I mean? Is it best for me to take this low dose? That's another thing. And usually when it's the antipsychotics, we usually do give you a low dose. The only time I give people higher doses in the antipsychotics, and when I say higher doses, really all I mean is it's the normally prescribed antipsychotic dose. It's just a lower dose if I'm just giving it to you to treat menopausal symptoms. But if you're telling me I'm very irritable, I have bad mood swings, I'm anxious and I'm depressed, that's what antipsychotics also treat.
Right.
So wait, so I was going to ask you, so the antipsychotic, it doesn't just treat the hot flashes, it treats more than that?
Correct. The vasomotor instability.
Oh, so it will help with the mood swings.
It will help with the mood swings, excuse me, yes. The vasomotor instability is
Go
that
find
medication.
these damn pills.
Commercial break. I just want to be able to get
Listen.
Are they old now?
They're about a good year or so.
It might be
But listen, have you heard of moringa?
Herbal?
A powder, yes.
I've heard of it.
So it's a herbal powder. So I follow a few people on social media that is in this, that researches, that all that stuff. So I heard about something called moringa powder. It's a leaf powder. It's green, it's organic, and it's from India. And it's I was
How do you take
people
it?
I do it a half of a tablespoon every day mixed into something. I use Crystal Light, and I'll mix it into that, but you can put it in a smoothie. But I will honestly say I've been taking this powder now for maybe 2 months, and I have noticed a 85% decrease in hot flashes. My brain fog is not as bad anymore. I'm noticing a change. I heard about this powder. I got it off the big A. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Yeah, and it'll last forever because it comes in a big envelope like this, and it's very fine because it's a powder. You take a half of a tablespoon every day, and I ain't saying it's the end all be all, but I'm feeling better.
And that's the goal, is to find something that works for you and your body chemistry.
Yes.
Because I took the pills that you were just talking about.
Estradiol?
No, well,
Paroxetine?
yes.
Okay.
But
And Brisdale. That is the brand name
Okay.
of the paroxetine 7.5 that is FDA approved for hot flashes. That's the brand name is Brisdale.
But see, it didn't work for me.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't feel right when I took it. And I only took it for like 2 or 3 days. And I probably had to get beyond a certain stage. But then I was like, if I'm already feeling like this.
How did it have you feeling?
I just felt uneasy. I just didn't feel, it's been a while so I can't remember exactly what it was, but I just didn't feel right.
And I will tell you, with any antipsychotic, initially, especially if you spend a few days, it is going to make you feel different. That's what people say. Some people say, I just feel different. I feel like Twilight Zone. I feel like my headspace is different. That is actually very normal. It's not normal for you to feel that way, but what I'm trying to say, it's a normal, because it does have to get in your system to stabilize.
Right.
So I do tell people, if you can tolerate it, at minimum, because let me finish this and think about what you told us. At minimum 2 weeks, maximum a month. And you said it hasn't been a month on estradiol, but it's been 2 to 3 weeks, and you're feeling symptoms. You're feeling better. You're not cured, but you are feeling better. Sometimes people don't give it enough time to truly know if it's going to work. Again, if it don't work for you, don't work for you. Like, I'm not going to say, no, you got to stay on it.
One thing
But it's just one of those things where you got to give it enough time for us to really know, does it or does it not. Now, it still could have been, you could have kept taking it and you didn't like the way it made you feel here. It could have helped with the hot flashes, but it gave you so many other ones that you were just not willing to deal with. And that's okay to come back and say, because maybe your biggest issue was hot flashes and not mood swings and anxiety and depression and irritability.
At that time, it was.
And so that's the thing. So it may not have worked for you anyway, right?
I'm not sure if this, but it just, proves the point of you have to take the time to find something that's going to work for you.
Yes. So
Because-
speaking of that, now that you're taking something estradiol and you're starting to feel better, have you thought of a plan, if you will, that will you continue to take the estradiol, or will you eventually wean yourself off of it, or what is your plan for treatment?
I mean, to be honest, I feel so much better already. Even like coming up on a month of taking this medication, that as long as I can, take it and be healthy and not have any, serious counterindications, that sort of thing, or my doctor says, no, you have to stop taking this. I mean, I intend to keep taking it. As a maintenance type of medication, because I really can tell a difference.
Yeah, yeah. And are you just pass all that? You just thugging it out, or what's your plans? But you've been in this for so long. You can teach us a few things.
I don't know. I don't have. I feel like I don't have a choice right now because I have to be on the hormone blocker. So that's why I chose to make the lifestyle changes that I can kind of live with, and I know, And don't get me wrong, I eat, things that I probably shouldn't, but I know what to expect.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
So I do. I just, feel like I'm going to be, having to deal with the hot flashes. So I know, look, if you're not the type of person who like to have your house cool, I'm not going to be at your house long.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Or your car don't like to blow cold air.
I'm gonna meet you there.
I'm gonna drive. Yeah. That's a deal breaker. It's like I was dating.
Especially in the summertime.
I ain't gonna be able to do
I
that,
love
bro.
you. I love you. When I tell you, she know what it is.
Yeah.
And she know what it ain't gonna be.
Right.
And it ain't no problem. Look, but she not under stress. She not under stress one bit.
I know how to dress thin, a little thick,
And
layer in the morning.
Right.
So I just made those kind of adjustments because my one medication that's helping me with my main thing, I'm not going to be able to stop it for a while. So I just have to learn to deal with it, and I'm okay with it.
And before we conclude, for sure, I need to make sure, I got to throw this out here. When we go through menopause and our estrogen levels decrease, then our bones get weaker and more brittle. So osteoporosis is at a higher risk at that time. So that's why we want to make sure that we're taking vitamin D or calcium supplements. Very important.
Okay, so say that again. Hold on. So,
and that's why you because even the little bit of estrogen that your body was making is completely blocked. So you have to.
Yeah.
So can you say that like one more time, like what it does to your bones?
Estrogen is going to make our bones more brittle. And more so the density is not there, and that's why you have older people that always have hip fractures when they fall, and you're kind of like, you fell on carpet, why would you? Well, now we got to think about their age. Are they in menopause? Maybe, and then you have some who are older and they fell on the same carpet and their hip didn't break, but then they take an estradiol, so maybe that's why it didn't break, because their estrogen levels are there, or at least being supplemented, you know what I mean? So it's a not. But if you're choosing to not take an estrogen, at least a systemic estrogen. Let me also say that to a systemic one, a pill, because some women will say, you know what, I don't want the risk, because taking estrogen will increase your risk of breast cancers. So it can, but if your biggest focus is, I just want to have a normal sex life, I don't want to be in pain when I have sex, I'm sick of burning when I urinate, and lubrication, then you could do estrogen, a cream, or a ring, and just do it intravaginally, and then that is just a slow release of estrogen, and it's not necessarily systemic. So the risk of the breast cancers and things like that are a little bit less. But then it's fixing what your main issue or what your main complaint is. You see what I mean? So it's always going to vary for people. If someone say, listen, I can deal with the hot flashes, it's not that bad, or I can deal with the night sweats because I have a fan blowing, I'm okay with paying this high light bill, whatever. My biggest thing is, I done got me a boo, our sex life is good, I don't want that messed up, and this is what I want fixed. Then I will say, okay, well, do you want to just try lubricants and being creative in the bedroom first, or do you want to go to an estrogen cream or ring? Like, I just need to know, what do you want to do? Again, after I've identified family risk and histories and all of that. So it's going to depend. If you're like, look, I'm snapping at everybody. I'm anxious. I'm depressed. I don't want to read no
Yeah,
more. Like
yeah,
Miss
yeah.
Oprah was saying.
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna say, okay, well look, we can go here with antipsychotic, or we can go estrogen. Or you want to try one first and then see if it helps. But it depends on what your symptoms are.
So let's talk about that vitamin D real quick.
And what's
we
most
will wrap
important.
up. So you were saying that the vitamin D supplement should be taken only if you're on an estradiol.
No.
Oh, see.
I'm
it's
saying
not.
Right.
no. I'm saying well, really, if you're in perimenopause, you need to be taking calcium and vitamin D. Point blank and period. That's the simplest way to say it.
Right.
Just like a multi is enough, or a multi and additional.
No,
Right.
an additional, just an actual vitamin D,
Okay.
or and or with calcium. That needs to be its own separate pill.
Okay.
Don't they have vitamin
So,
calcium?
They do.
so
Wait,
vitamin
I
D
missed
is-
that. What?
What's
Vitamin D is like that little capsule
right?
pill.
Like,
Yeah,
is
just
it?
take that
It's
every day.
like the same number for every vitamin D, or what's the?
I think it's
number?
50. I use.
Yeah.
You take
And
one,
they have
one
the
every day.
chewable ones too, the little caramel flavor that by that.
But every single day, if you're gonna do the 50, I use every single day. There's a prescription one out there, which is a once a week, but you have to get a prescription for it. Which I'm not saying that's a
Right.
bad thing, but you definitely can buy vitamin D over the counter.
Right.
But you gotta take it every single day
Okay.
because your estrogen level decreases. I mean, even if you're gonna take estradiol, I would still say take your vitamin D, especially. I hate to say it, but especially African Americans, Hispanics, and Asians, our vitamin D levels be low anyway.
So you said
Yeah.
vitamin D and
Calcium. If you can take
Yeah.
calcium.
So I think you may have asked the question, what if it's mixed in with the multivitamin? You said no, take a vitamin D and a calcium.
At
separate.
least at minimum vitamin D.
Okay.
But you doing both, or if you can find a vitamin D calcium combo,
And
that
that's
still
such
can
thing.
be by itself.
Okay.
But I don't want you to take a multivitamin and think that is enough.
Right.
Not if you're menopausal.
Okay, I got
So
you.
in
No.
addition to
I got
the
you.
multi.
So I got two questions. One, Tiffany, you have any symptoms? Like are you?
That's why she been
I'm
quiet the
saying-
whole hour.
Right, I'm saying you have any.
She don't like to be on the bus by herself.
No, I mean, because that's gonna move me into some other stuff. But
Okay. I think sometimes at night I do feel the hot.
The heat, yep.
Yeah, to where
From the inside.
Well, no, not that. To just where I just get hot.
Okay.
And I do, like, sometimes I feel like I have night sweats sometimes. Now, I don't, honestly, and I'm not just saying this, but honestly, I think it might just be my comforter because it's real thick. Just being straight honest. But I have that every now and then. It's not often. So that's why I'm
Okay.
thinking it may be the comforter. But other than that, no.
Okay.
so my second question, how long does it last?
The symptoms?
No, just like
Menopause.
menopause. Like, how long does it
so
last?
I think that's very important. I'm so glad we asked that question before we left.
Yes.
Listen, perimenopause can last you 4 to 7 years, average 3 to 4. How do I know I'm in menopause? When you have a uterus. So this will probably fall more for you, because us, we really not gonna know for sure
Okay.
because we don't have a uterus.
No, I have my ovaries.
Ovaries.
I don't have a uterus.
When you've gone 12 months, 365 consecutive days without a period, then you have graduated to menopause.
Yep.
If you
Shit
are
the
in
gears.
perimenopause, ladies, you can still get pregnant. I have told a lady who had not had a period for 6 months
She was wilding.
because she came in because she was feeling pregnancy symptoms, but not in no time did she think she was pregnant. And she was just like, I'm just getting sick. My breasts are tender. I need to make sure I don't have any breast lumps. I asked her, I know her age. When was your last period? She told me, because she told me 6 months. I still want to check for pregnancy because of pregnancy symptoms, and she was pregnant. And when I told her, she thought I was joking. And I'm
Wow.
like,
Oh.
no. And she said, there's no way. And I'm like, well, why do you say that?
So,
I
you
said,
saying if you make it to a whole year, then there's
you're
no
in
possibility
menopause.
that you're
Then
gonna be
you
pregnant.
know, because you're
Because I've known people to say I didn't have a period for it was a couple years, and then I got pregnant.
Well, that wasn't menopause related. It couldn't be.
Right. So I mean,
Remember I told you this is based off of an average normal. Every month I have a period, 28 days, usually for the most part, those type of people. So those you would have to ask and know. Were their periods irregular because they had thyroid disease, thyroid issues?
Okay.
How were they eating? Were they on any other hormone for other reasons? You know,
Right.
Depo, stuff like that. So that could have stopped their. And some people may have what we call polycystic ovary syndrome, which can make their cycles irregular. So you can't really say. But if you are a person who you had a period every month and you weren't on any type of like Depo shots, you know, before all that, you go 365 days no period. Now you have menopause, and so you're
Full
infertile.
blown.
But when you're in perimenopause, you can still get pregnant. Ladies, you can still get pregnant. So don't say I haven't had a period in 3 months, I haven't had a period in 9 months, so I must be in the clear and you living your best life. I want you to live your best life, but just know you can get pregnant. So we gotta do some
Can you
things.
imagine?
So
That ain't fair.
Yeah.
But you know, somebody was saying, some guy, it was a client came in, he was like, my mom or somebody I know had a baby at 45. I was like, they didn't try to. Like,
I believe that.
like they didn't try.
They
I
didn't
mean,
try
he
to.
said it like it was like, you know, so
On
that's
purpose,
a good thing. It's like, okay, maybe that happened, but she didn't try to.
So
Well,
we
listen,
gotta make sure.
we're going to try to keep y'all here all day, as y'all know. We are so thankful that you guys joined us. But before, as we always do, we would like to, final thoughts. Any final thoughts that you want to share about anything?
Don't listen to the street gossip per se. This isn't street gossip because they have experts and personal lived experiences. Don't listen to the street gossip when you go to ask a follow-up question and they're like, well, I don't know. Go to a provider or a friend. If you have a friend that is an expert or something, and get the real information and do your research. Henny talked about she looked up stuff and be ready to have that intellectual conversation and say, hey, I learned about that, read about this, and this. What are your thoughts? And figure out what's best for you. If you can, ask people in your family, your mother, your aunts, your sisters, if they're older, what did they experience, all of those things, because all of that is going to help play a factor in what you will and won't deal with. What it is and what it ain't going to be, right?
Okay, so that's your deal.
I have no problem with
I
that.
do have one final question. I promise you it's my last one. Is what type of doctor should a woman go to deal with menopause symptoms, questions? Because I would imagine it's not your primary care doctor.
Well, you can go to your primary care doctor. You can, because they are, they're educated enough to answer these questions. If you go to them and they flat out tell you, look, I'm not as comfortable with this information, or I have a great person that you could go talk to, then that's one thing. But don't rule out your primary care doctor. I would say if that's all you have, go ahead and start the conversation with them. You don't need to go find a whole nother doctor for that. But if you do go to an OB/GYN, and you might only be going to them for the GYN component, because OB, you're not having babies, that would be the best, or a women's health nurse practitioner, something like that, because we specialize in the woman's body. So from infancy, or as we would say from monarch, you have a period, to menopause. So if you do have one, then it's good to have that conversation with them. But if you're not, but again, if you only have a primary care, I'm not saying go find someone else, but if you have that conversation with them and you try some things and it's not working and you want further information, there's nothing wrong with you asking them if they can refer you elsewhere.
Okay. Final thoughts, final words. What say you, ma'am?
Well, I mean, it's a change of life. Just like any other changes you go through menopause. I mean, not menopause, but having a cycle. It's been so long since as a preteen. But it's just changes that you learn to accept and live with. I mean, I have no regrets. I'm happy. It has been a process.
Yeah.
But I'm here. I'm alive, and I'm doing well, and I'm thankful.
I'm glad you're still with us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Final words.
I would just, say that people should listen to their bodies, and you should do whatever it is that you can to ensure that you have the quality of life that you would like to have.
Yeah.
Because tomorrow's not promised.
Absolutely.
So if there is something that you can do, or something that you can take that will help you have a more enjoyable life, then you should do that. Certainly with the direction of your doctor.
Yeah.
But take the time to just listen to yourself, and then go see someone who can help you and guide you down this path, because most women are going to, at some point in time, go through all of these things that we've been talking about.
Promise you.
So, just know that you don't have to suffer through all of these things.
Right.
There are things, or medications and treatments that can help you, and you just have to take the time to, honor yourself by going to find out what you can do to live your best life.
Yeah. Well, very well said. CSO, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Just like you said, we all at some point, being a biological woman, will have to go through this. So, I joke a lot, with my friends saying, yeah, you old, whatever the case may be, but I learn a lot, because I'm close to maybe perimenopausal soon, so, just take care of your body and listen to your body.
Right, and I do want to say though, I gave the ages and the numbers I was giving you are averages. There is a such of early menopause. There are some women who can go in menopause or start going in perimenopause in their 30s, 35, late 30s, things like that. So don't rule that out either, and don't think I don't need to listen to y'all because it could be you. But that's also another reason why if you can get the history, your family history, because if your mother went through perimenopause, went through early menopause, the risk of you going through early menopause is higher. So that's why that's good to know that type of stuff too. But I did want to throw that out there because I don't want people to think, oh, these symptoms do match what I have, but it can't be me because I'm only 35.
Right.
Because there is a such of that.
I didn't ask that question, but now that you mention it, because my family is all women, pretty much, my immediate family anyway, and as Keisha and I were talking about it, I was just like, I don't recall like my grandmother, my mom, my aunts, anybody having hot flashes. Like literally,
I they ever talk about it though. That's the biggest thing because we're in a
that's
whole different
true.
generation. See, that generation, we don't know a lot of stuff.
Yes.
Some of them, they might, and I know,
right.
I'm making a joke out of it. They might have somebody else's leg and we don't know. Because look, a loss of a leg wasn't gonna stop the show from happening here. I don't care what you say. The older generation, our monarchs in our family, they are superheroes to me. They talk about marvels. I'm like, no, that's our monarchs of our family. Like we did not know the struggles. They did not reveal those to us. So
What? That's true.
So I say that to say that they don't. We may not know that. And I'll be honest, being a provider, and when I go in and I dive and I go to ask these questions, and usually when I'm asking the questions from the patient and it's about them or their children or maybe even their spouse, they know it all. And then when I start asking, okay, what about your dad? What about this? Oh, you know what? I think somebody on my other side of the family might have had, because no one knows. And I never look at my patient like, how you don't know about your family? Because I know a lot of family, they just don't like to share because they don't want you to worry. If you as a child, that's not your concern. So really,
stay in the child's place.
Stay in the child's place. So really, you need to ask the question.
I do, and I'm going to ask that
Yes,
question.
you have to flat out ask.
Tomorrow morning.
Because I'm going to be honest, eventually that's what I did. I think in my 30s is when I started. I said, Mama, do you still have your uterus? Because I remember I used to freeze and she was like, girl, yeah. Then I went through, the reason I got a hysterectomy, mine was all related to fibroids. And when I started to have those issues, I was like, Mama, do you have fibroids? She was like, yeah, I have a lot of fibroids.
Oh, wow.
And I said, well, did you have this, what I was going through? And she said, yeah, I had heavier cycles, but I was in pain with mine. She didn't have the pain, so guess what? She could tough it out. She could be a soldier and tough it out. See, when I started going through it, I still got kids. I'm still trying to go to work. I'm still trying to do this. I'm still, my iron going low. I'm tired. So it was one of those things. I needed something to help me. And I was like, well, I'm not going to contribute to society no more. I gave y'all 3 children. You can take this whole, as you say, you can drop the transmission. Right. But my point is, I did. That's how I know my mom had fibroids. I know she still has a uterus. I know she went through, she was pretty much menopausal at 52. Because at that point, I had to start asking. Because I'm like, well, I'm getting there. And I got to figure out what may possibly happen to me. Or what am I more at risk for? Because, like, we're going to go through it. Biological women, but what will my journey possibly look like? That will. So you have to ask those questions.
Final thoughts, Queen?
Well, I mean, I think that it does require some questions asked. Everything, it appears that everything we needed to know was a secret to them back
Yes.
in the day.
It was a time they didn't talk
I
about
mean,
it.
we didn't know about money. They kept that a secret.
You
We didn't know
laughing,
about
so now
sex.
y'all
That
gonna
was
be
a
right here,
secret.
Mom, is this your man?
We didn't know about menopause.
I'm
That was a
telling
secret.
you, they did not tell us
I mean,
anything.
everything's a secret, and I guess it do start with questions, and you still don't know if you're going to get the truth. But I mean, I would imagine that my mom would tell me, because I can't remember a time. My mom was young, and this was really a big secret, like that you have, you know, the hysterectomy and everything. Like, I might be in trouble right now. I don't know, but I'm just saying, like, Mom, you can't have kids no way right now. I'm just saying, but that's just how secretive they, secretive they are. You know, I mean, my mom don't think that it's a good idea for me to just openly say that. You know, but it's my body at this point, and I don't see anything wrong with it because this is just what we go through. So, and I guess it's just like that with everything that they kept a secret. We got to figure it out because
and
every
generation gets better and more open and communicate more so that we don't have to necessarily repeat the same thing. You know,
And in defense of the older generation, they didn't have access to medicine and research like we did. You know, our mothers did.
That's true.
And they didn't have physicians that looked like you.
That's true.
That follow us as women,
Right.
as Black women as well.
Okay,
So
that's
a lot of
very,
times
very good
that
point.
makes a big
And that is a
difference.
huge point. That is a huge point.
Yeah.
And I do want to make it clear, I'm Dr. Huggins because I have a doctorate, but I am actually a board certified nurse practitioner in women's health, and I'm a certified family nurse practitioner as well. So I'm a nurse practitioner, but I have 20 plus years of experience.
She a doctor.
And I have all of my fan base patients who say exactly that. They're like, I don't care, you a doctor, you can write this prescription, right? But I don't want people to get I just don't want people to think I'm trying to
And
get fake doc out here.
I do appreciate having somebody that look like me to be able to educate.
Yes.
You know, I'm somebody that, you know, maybe everybody don't feel like this, but I like having a woman's gynecologist. I mean, because a woman knows a woman's body. You know, I mean, so it doesn't matter the race with the man. And it's nothing against
unless it was
him.
Dr. Cody.
I just, nothing against him, but I do appreciate a woman, you know.
And a lot of people do
this is-
feel that way, even though there's a lot of men that are in OBGYN.
Right.
I know men. But I think that just across the board, if you want to talk about
It's
health,
just a
health
preference.
and equity,
Yeah,
it's no dig.
we're more comfortable with someone that maybe looks like, well, put it this way, I definitely look like us, but really if you just talk about similarities, and anything that I think is you can relate to me, whatever that may be.
Right.
So it can be a culture. The culture doesn't necessarily have to always be the race. The culture can be the gender.
Right.
The culture can be how you identify. The culture can be the age.
Right.
It can be a younger generation. So sometimes it's just one of those things where I need you to also as a provider, which I think is why we hit it off even outside of our professions, or, you know, me being a provider, her being a patient, and vice versa, is because I need my patients to be understand that I'm relatable. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because now you're willing to tell me things that your mama said, don't go tell everybody you got a hysterectomy.
Exactly.
And you know, we listen to mamas.
Yes.
Right? But understanding, okay, this is a safe place. This is a person that I can tell, and I need to tell to make sure that we're doing the best thing for me.
Exactly.
Because at the end of the day, you all are the pilots of your bodies.
Yes.
Providers of any kind, whether it's a doctor, a nurse practitioner, PA, we are only co-pilots.
Yes.
We only come in and help guide you, give you the information, the resources, or whatnot of what you may need. But at the end of the day, it's going to be you to make the final decision and you to follow through with that decision, right?
Yes.
So, you know, you want to make sure you do find that person. That's what I'm saying. Don't run away from your family practice if you've been with them and you like them, and go ahead and give them that
Or if
opportunity.
they leave you.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I personally.
You talking about the shade?
But I love you. Listen, you ain't nothing but a dang on text away. Like, hey, I got a question.
How far am I? Really?
Well, we're on a personal level
Okay,
now.
there you go.
You're my personal doctor. So listen, if y'all tired of us, we understand. But we hope that you guys took something from this conversation. We hope that you were educated. And if you are not in that phase yet, CSO, you have something to look for, but you can kind of get in front of things. She's giving you tips and tricks that you can use to kind of get in front of it. She's giving you a lot of information. Please share this with someone who may be going through it, someone who's doubting it, someone who's like, I'm not too sure. Maybe they're in denial, whatever it may be. Forward them the link to this video and let them watch this and make their own decisions at their comfort level. Period. But if you are in menopause, be a soldier. It's nothing we can do about it. It's what's going to happen. Do what's best for you. Do what's best for your body. And I hope you guys will come back and join us. In about 2 more weeks, we'll be back again. But share. Tell everybody. Dr. Huggins, I'm going to still call you Dr. Huggins. Thank you for your time. We appreciate